Hey everybody, my name is Julian Germinal and I'm with my trusted mortgage advisor Hudson, and today we're going to be going over a little bit of deals that we've done in the past year, highlight some successes, and even a little bit of humor here and there. Also, hey, we're not professional newscasters, so there might be a little bit of mistakes here and there, but we're just going to have some fun today, man. I wanted to talk about some of the deals that we worked on last year, just to kind of give people a little bit of insights on what we've done, show a little bit of, of the strengths, and then also just kind of put out some of the families that we've been able to help, since that's all, that's what it's about, right? So some of the deals, let's talk about Abraham's deal. So that one was a pretty tough deal, but ultimately we ended up closing the deal for first-time investors, which can be scary, right? You want to talk a little bit about how and what you did actually to kind of move that deal along, and some of the stuff that we went through to make that close?
Yes, of course. We had my trusted real estate advisor, Julian, get Marie Abraham and her husband under contract on a duplex. Mm-hmm. The purchase price was, I believe, about $410,000, and Julian was able to secure 2% in closing costs. Mm-hmm. Ultimately, the property ended up appraising at $440,000, and the buyers were overwhelmed with joy. At closing, we were able to get the closing costs $12,000 below her expectations, and it was a huge win for all parties. Not only was her appraisal value so much higher than what the asking price was, but her cash to close, we were able to save her $12,000 in closing costs, mm-hmm. Her expectations. And that was just, the combination of a great, teamwork between I and Julian having excellent negotiation skills.
Right. And I think that's very important, right? When you're dealing with, especially first-time investors, that it's scary for them, man. And it's a lot of different avenues to do things. Some might work for different people. Some might not work for certain people. So you got to have, one, not only communication, which is going to be the most important thing in everything, right? But you got to have somebody that knows what they're doing and has the skills to get things done. Like, for example, getting her into the deal, she used a HELOC. That was its own process. That took us a bit of time. We had to find the correct people to get her the HELOC on her home, and then knowing the market so we can get her the first-time property. We want to be safe when we're doing these things, especially for first-time investors. So we have to know our market. So getting into a safer area, and then we all know, being a landlord, it's not an easy thing to do, especially when you're first time going into it. You don't know what to expect. So that's when you have to have professionals that can try to make things easier on you, because we know what to expect, right? We're the pros. So knowing how to gauge the market and then value properties to, obviously the most important thing to me in a deal is going to be the equity, because you can get some good cash flow, but in the long-term run, when you're first investing in a property, equities to me is going to be key. And we're able to capitalize on that for her, and ultimately got her into a property which she walked in on day one with $160,000 in equity. That's a win-win, right?
It's amazing.
You know what I mean? So
that's amazing.
Yeah, man. So moving on a little bit from that, right? Let's talk about Polarius, her deal. That one was also a little tough, but again, dealing with first-time homebuyers, we're the pros. We have to, kind of navigate these people on what they're doing, what they're walking into, and educate them a bit, which is the most important thing for me, is educating people. So you want to talk about how we managed to get that deal to close and the highlights of it?
Oh yeah, Erica Palacios was a hardworking RN. I met Erica a couple years ago, first-time home buyer, just working hard as an RN, mm-hmm. Doing 16-hour days. So connected them with Julian and Kate, and they were able to, find a house and get them about $15,000 in closing costs. I was able to put them in a program called the Hometown Heroes program. So the Hometown Heroes program is a program for residents in Florida who work at least 35 hours a week. Mm-hmm. You must have a minimum 640 credit score. But anyways, we were able to put them in this program, and at cash to close, she brought $60 to close. So basically, she purchased a $325,000 house. Mm-hmm. Her payment was below her expectations, and then her cash to close, she brought $60 to closing. Could you imagine paying $325,000 for a house and you only bought $60 to buy it. You know, so again, it was just a combination of great negotiation skills by my realtor partner and just finding the right product as a mortgage advisor to help our client.
Again, knowledge is key, right? You got to know the market that you're working in order to help people. Because again, everybody's situation is going to be different. Trusted advisors and professionals. You got to be working with somebody that knows what they're doing. So what I kind of want to get into now is like the importance of partnering with the right agent, because ultimately how it normally works, right? They'll connect with me and then I have to connect them to a trusted partner in mortgage and then get them to, the people that they need. So from a seller's perspective, a deal that I wanted to kind of touch on was Nikki's deal that I ended up finding a buyer for, that we brought them to you and then did a very quick closing on that deal. So I'm going to just kind of explain to them a little bit how I got this listing. That was, the sellers interviewed a couple of different agents, obviously. We know the market because we're in that market. We've sold many homes in that specific community before. So when we went and obviously sat with her, she already knew that we had great results in that community, and she was deciding between us and a different agent, and ultimately we took the listing. But when we get a listing, it's not, oh, we're going to take the listing and have it sit on the market and just, basically pray that it sells or somebody else sells it. We're actively looking for buyers and talking to the buyers that we're working with in order to, bring a buyer to the deal. What great power, right? To be able to have the seller. We already have a great relationship with the seller, and then have a buyer that we can bring to them. That to me is going to be the best situation, to where we can just have the two parties work together for the same goal. Ultimately, we want to close on the property. The buyers want to buy the house and the sellers want to sell the house. So with this deal, 7 days on the market, I was able to find a buyer looking for that specific home. It fit exactly what they needed. We brought the buyer to the property within 7 days, got it under contract. And keep in mind, in today's market where we're at, it's taken about 61 days for the properties to go under contract and then longer for it to close. So again, being proactive in your field is very important. And yes, it takes a lot of energy, but that's what we're supposed to be doing. We're professionals. We're looking to help others sell and or buy homes. You know what I mean? So can you explain a little bit what you did in that deal to kind of get that to the closing table, and how we were able to close it so quick in today's market?
In the beginning, we gathered all the documents for Nikki and her family, and we ran it through our underwriting system. So in the beginning, I knew this loan would be a breeze. Julian and his wife negotiated a great deal on behalf of the sellers, and we were able to get $15,000 in closing costs. With that $15,000 in closing costs, we were able to do a combination of buying down the rate for them to 5.75% and also contributing some of the funds towards their closing costs. The great thing about this story was Nikki and her family were living in an apartment complex that was pretty much infested with mold. And so time was of essence. And with, our help, our ops team, and Julian and his wife, we were able to get this family into a brand new home. Home was 2021, 2022? Newer roof, tile floors, updated kitchen, open floor plan.
The pavers out in the back on the water.
Pavers in the back, and and a waterfall in the background. But it was a beautiful transaction, and just lots of smiles, lots of wins, and ultimately, brought it to the finish line, as a team.
21 days.
21 days.
It took us to sell the home and also get a buyer into the home. So to me, the highlights of this last deal was just the gratitude that we got from these people. And to me, that's what's worth it. Because obviously, I think we're going to make money in whatever it is that we're doing. So, we never base, our journeys on, okay, I'm going to make such and such amount of money. You got to find what you're made to do, in my opinion. And the gratitude is what makes me, man, that was fantastic. It gives me that feeling of fulfillment. And these people were extremely grateful to get out of that situation where it was so much mold. I didn't even want to go in there, to be honest with you, because it was a lot of black mold in there. So when they finally got out of the apartment into the home, they were just ecstatic about being in the house. As expected from a first-time home buyer, but not everybody expressed gratitude to you. So that's kind of what makes it worth it for me in the end. You know what I mean? So you got anything else you kind of want to bring attention to? And before I even continue, shout out Kate Germinal, the wifey, because we, kind of work on everything together, and she's great at what she does as well. I just got to shout her out a little bit.
We couldn't do this without you.
Yeah.
Couldn't do this without you. Obviously, keeping things the glue.
All right. Well, I mean, you don't got nothing else you want to bring attention to?
For anyone looking to sell their house, and if you're looking to sell your house and your house has been on the market, I have the agent for you. His name is Julian Germinal. He's selling homes that have been sitting on the market. If your realtor partner isn't giving you results, call my guy, Julian Germinal. Get you to the table and get your house sold.
And listen, where there's a will, there's a way. And if you want to find a way, again, you know who to contact, because we are doers. We get things done. We don't sit on task. We're proactively out in our market doing what we're supposed to be doing. So, well, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for tuning in. And remember, real estate doesn't have to be serious all the time. It just has to be seriously rewarding. Thank you for tuning in.